everyone. Welcome back to Josh Impact Insights, your weekly talk show about causes and effects. Generally, when the government, corporate sector, or we as a part of a community think of investing in social impact projects, we think of sectors like environment, education, health, poverty and hunger, water, rural development, sanitation projects, etc. All of these are essential investments required to improve the quality of life and help in survival of the needy. But the focus is slowly shifting towards making people self-reliant. As they say, give a man a fish and he will eat for a day. Teach a man how to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. In tandem with the changing economic scenario from industrialization to globalization to digitalization, and now towards virtualization, work-related requirements are also changing. Whether you are experienced or young, men or women in a job, or self-employed or an entrepreneur in a private sector or government job, everyone requires relevant skills not only to start, but also to sustain and grow. Education alone is not enough. During the COVID pandemic crisis, we have seen the huge gap that exists between available workforce and employable workforce across the sector, be it health, logistics, technology, finance, legal, or even the social sector. Skilling is one development area where the corporate sector can play a pivotal role in more than one way. Every industry needs a skilled workforce to grow and be competitive. Corporate sector can provide content or know-how, training, and skill development infrastructure and also invest through their CSR corpus. Over the last 5 years, though the overall CSR spend has doubled from 10,000 crore of rupees in 14-15 to upwards of 21,000 crore of rupees in financial year 19-20, still the investment in skill development remains low, at around 1,000 crore of rupees for vocational skills, an equivalent amount going for other livelihood engagement projects. One of the main reasons for low CSR spend in the skilling sector is due to lack of credible institutions working at scale in this space. Our guest today is from NSDC, one of the biggest organizations in India promoting skill development. Dr. Archana Singh is a development professional focusing on public policy, fundraising, impact investment, government affairs, and sustainability. With a work experience of over 20 years in both the skill and education sectors, she is currently leading the CSR Affirmative Action and Industry Partnership Division of the NSDC, under the aegis of the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. She has a PhD in disability studies along with certifications from NCERT and Harvard. She is a trained art therapist and has worked with Fortis Memorial Research Institute, Skill Council of Persons with Disability, Learning Link Foundation, CII, etc. She is also an avid golfer and has represented NSDC in tournaments like the India-Korea Meet, Incredible India, etc. Today, Archana will talk about how NSDC is creating a huge impact by filling the skills gap by developing partnerships with multiple stakeholders who are experts in their field, which in turn leads to a multiplier effect for skilling over 150 million people across India. Hi, Archana, and welcome to Impact Insights.
Thank you so much, Tavishi. The pleasure is all mine.
Let's start with a small introduction about NSDC and its organizational setup and how it is different from NSDF.
So NSDC is the implementing arm of the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. When I say implementing arm, what do I mean by that? I mean that we implement the flagship policy for the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, which is the PMKVY, also known as the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. Similarly, we also implement important initiatives for the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. However, having said that, we are a private entity by itself. We are a PPP model, which is a private and public partnership, where we've got 49% shares of the Government of India, and we've got 51% shares of the private sector. So it is a good mix of both the government and the private sector. And sometimes we also refer to ourselves as a quasi-government organization. Well, NSDF is the National Skill Development Fund, and it is part of the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. NSDC is an entity by itself.
How is NSDC solving the skills gap problem to increase employability?
So there are several initiatives that have been taken by NSDC to fill this skill gap. And when I speak about the PMKVY scheme, the scheme was rolled out in its 2.0 version to train about 1 crore individuals. What is the need to train these 1 crore individuals? The need to train these 1 crore individuals is to bridge the skill gap, to ensure that training is provided to those people who need skilling, and then increase their employability, and then further it translates to jobs. So far in the 2.0 version of PMKVY, we have trained more than 50 lakh individuals. There are other initiatives also that NSDC undertakes, which is one such initiative is the CSR vertical that I handle at NSDC, where we collaborate with private sector and public sector donors and ensure that their CSR funds are committed towards skilling to address the skill gap that you're talking about. So it is a concerted and congruent effort where different arms and verticals of NSDC work towards a common goal of addressing the skills gap in the country through different training initiatives.
So, what efforts are being made by NSDC in promoting e-skills or digital skills so as to open the global job market for Indian youth?
E-skills was, of course, there before COVID era. But if we look at the COVID era and perhaps any benefit that we need to sort of associate with this era, it would be digitization. NSDC has come out with this eSkill India portal. So if you go to our NSDC website, you'll see our eSkill India portal, and you'll see that there's been an exponential growth in the registrations of candidates for digital courses. So if I get the data correct, we have had more than 1 crore registrations and enrollments on the eSkill India portal for digitized courses in India and overseas. And what is this eSkill India portal? It is a portal which aggregates content from different knowledge providers. So we've got content from a Salesforce, we've got content from an edX, we've got content from a Byju's, etc. And they're all hosted on the eSkill India portal. And students are welcome to come and undertake these courses. Some courses are free and some courses are paid. And what is the reason that the knowledge partners host these courses on the eSkill India portal? It's because of the outreach of NSDC. So the outreach of NSDC is in rural India, in urban India, more than 5 crore individuals. So it is only beneficial for knowledge partners to have alliances with us to promote their digital courses, and also at the same time benefit students who perhaps may not have access to those courses otherwise through different portals for whatever reasons.
With the pandemic came a huge demand for healthcare workers in the country. Does NSDC have any special courses for COVID healthcare support?
Right. So like all parts of the world, India also braced up in the COVID era, and so did NSDC and the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. And currently, we've got a scheme called PMKVY 3.0, which is the subsequent version of the PMKVY 2.0. And what we did through PMKVY 3.0 is came out with a crash course for training healthcare workers in the COVID relief space, and we gave this capsule a name. In fact, this name was given by our Honorable Prime Minister, and he launched this COVID Warrior program on the 18th of June this year, where we've got 6 courses which are called crash courses for training healthcare workers, and we are going to train 1 lakh healthcare workers within the next 2 months as COVID warriors. And then these healthcare workers are going to be disseminated in the districts and the block levels, not so much so in the urban areas of India, because urban areas are anyway equipped with good medical infrastructure, healthcare workers, other medical facilities, etc. So this crash course for COVID warriors is like a ramp up for the rural sectors essentially. And what the other verticals of NSDC are doing towards this COVID Warrior program is that we have come up with an impact alliance which an impact stands for India making progress across communities together. So what we are saying is that we are reaching out to different organizations who are working in the healthcare space in India and overseas, telling them to partner with us in this space so that we can augment this this COVID Warrior initiative with more numbers of healthcare workers in the country, in addition to the 1 lakh that has been trained through PMKVY. So, for example, if there is an Apollo MedSkills, which is training their healthcare workers, as COVID warriors, we would love to partner with them in this space so that there is a consolidation in the effort that is being done in the COVID warrior space. There is a consolidation in the reporting mechanisms for how many COVID warriors were trained, how many COVID healthcare personnel were trained. There's a consolidation in and standardization on what and how we should train, because that has also been done by NSDC. So if you see the COVID warrior package, we've got a standardized curricula through which the training is imparted, and this curriculum is made by the Healthcare Sector Skill Council, and the Healthcare Sector Skill Council is led by industry bodies in the healthcare space, and the chairperson for this Healthcare Sector Skill Council is Dr. Naresh Trehan, and he needs no introduction, you see. So it is like a very standardized and process-driven effort, which translates into, again, a very standardized training, high quality training, which translates to high quality and better probability of employment. That's why we want organizations to come and partner with us through Project Impact, so that we can support these organizations with all standardized content, curriculum, and everything else that we have towards the COVID Warrior Project with them.
Sure. So are there any specific programs to support underprivileged classes of youth, like women and youth from orphanages or with disabilities in particular?
Yeah, so there are several initiatives being undertaken by NSDC for social inclusion. And if I talk about the initiative for the Ministry of Skill Development, it would be the special projects segment under the PMKY 2.0 and 3.0 scheme. So special projects is a window which facilitates training for gender inclusion. It facilitates training for vulnerable groups. So we've already trained people from the Bru tribe. We have trained people from the primitive tribes. We've trained people in jail. So we've trained jail inmates. We've trained women in shelter homes and juvenile homes, etc., through the special project segment of PMKVY. And we've also trained a lot of persons with disability, including people with intellectual disability, through the PMKVY segment. So there's a lot of social impact that is being created through PMKVY and other initiatives of NSDC. And in CSR also, we ensure that we are able to facilitate training in difficult geographies. So I'll give you an example. We've been training a lot these days through the NTPC project, through the RECL project, some other public sector donors in difficult geographies like the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir. And we've been able to enable especially women, who would have otherwise been sitting at home and not perhaps been so emancipated and liberated. We've been providing counseling to these young women and girls and the youth of JNK to bring them out of their homes, of course, following all social distancing norms and the COVID protocol, and provide training to them in hybrid models. I mean, models which include training through online modes and training at physical centers. So there is a lot being done in the skilling space by NSDC, by the Ministry of Skills, but not too many people know about the impact that that we are creating at the grassroots level.
Thanks a lot, Archana. We understand that upgrading of skills is the need of the hour to increase employability among the youth in India. So stay tuned, everyone, for the upcoming episode next Saturday to hear Archana's views on funding to promote skills development and how NSDC is the right partner to make India skills capital of the world.